Okay, I want to go forward and do the end topic of the article, which is Os Zayin and Ches. Very interesting topic. The question is, can a person go to university in order to have a good profession? It says it says in Kiddushin, right? The starting point of our sugya is in Kiddushin Daf Lamed. It says you have to teach your kids umnus. So what does that mean? You have to figure out a way how to give them the whole course yourself. You send them to university, they'll learn a good profession, and they can become a computer programmer and a graphic artist. Who knows what they're going to be? A plumber, electrician. Who knows? You'll train them to do something productive. They got to make a living. So now, here's the question. Ve'ato nedaber b'inyan limud ha'chochmos mitzad Yisur b'dal Torah. Im yesh bo zeh heter. Is there any heter to learn chochma? And I'm asking in terms of b'dal Torah. I mean, are we going to demand from you to learn Torah 24 hours a day and put you in chains and lock you up? And if you stop learning for 1 minute, you're finished? I want to know, is there a heter to be a normal person or not? So he says like this. It's a psak halacha of the Ramah. The Ramah says in Shulchan Aruch that of course you can be normal and learn chochmas, so long as it's not minus. I don't want you to learn things which are anti-Torah, but if you learn a lot of chochma out there in the world, if you learn a chochma, so the Ramah says, provided that you do so be'akrai, then it's mutter. Akrai means without setting a certain time to learn. You happen to learn here and there. Come across it, you saw an interesting book, you read a little bit. Ba'akrai, it's mutter. So now, the glaring question, which he's going to discuss for the next more than a column, the obvious question is, what about, it's, I love learning, and every now and then you see something in the chokhmah of the world that's kind of interesting to know about it. So you want to take a few minutes to look at those interesting things. But we left out the main topic that I really want to know about chokhmas of the world is, what about to make a living? So if he asks me, is there any heter to learn chokhmas of the world, I would say the most obvious answer is you gotta have a profession, be a professional, learn it, learn something. So the Birkas Shmueil didn't mention that, and the Ramah, who said that it's mutter if you do it in an incidental, passing fashion, but not b'kavios, not sit down and learn it. So first of all, make up your mind. If you're not supposed to learn that stuff, so then you can learn a little bit of it on here and there. I thought it's no good, so don't learn it. B'dal Torah. And if it's not B'dal Torah, so then why just arai? You got to make a living. So I don't understand the connection between saying that I'm interested, is there a heter for learning chokhmah as far as B'dal Torah is concerned, and then the Ramah, it kind of missed the question a little bit. There's a lot of things we need to talk about to understand the Ramah. I don't know what he's saying, but if it's not ba'arai, it's not mutter. I thought you were talking about chokhmas which are not minos, not things which are usher. So then why is it not mutter except only bakrai? So it's not so clear. And the Birkas Shmueil says, now, Bigdei lohovin divrei Ramo, betchila akdim lo dover echad. I have to. The Birkas Shmuel is a logician, so you need sometimes a hakdama. You need a certain premise, a certain understanding, that after I've got you this new understanding, I have to now digress, so to speak. I'm going to talk about a certain premise and a certain understanding, and then I'll be able to explain the Ramah. So it's mukrach. We need to have this premise to explain the Ramah. He's going to come back to the Ramah at the end of this Oz Zion. In Oz Ches, he says, V'ata navo el divrei Ramah. So, meaning to say that I'm going to have a whole Hagdama now to explain something I need before I get to the Ramah. He has a beautiful question here. I'm going to tell you the Shach Levatari, and then I'm going to read it inside. There's a Gemara in Menachos, right after the one we learned, that the nephew of Rabbi Shmuel, his name was Ben Dama. He went to Rabbi Shmuel and he asked him the famous question, can I learn, I wasn't asking in general I'm asking for myself, a person like me who knows all the Torah Kula, And Rabbi Shmuel did not tell him, what are you talking about? You don't know all the Torah Kula yet. He asked, a person like me who knows all the Torah, can I learn Chochma Yavonis? So Rabbi Shmuel said to him, well, you could do that. Find a time which is not day and not night, because you're commanded, Higisa bo yomam v'layla, to learn Torah day and night. If you find a time which is not day and not night, then fine. Of course, there is no time which is not day and not night. And everybody knows that Bein Hashmashos is not called a time which is not day and not night. Bein Hashmashos is Safek Yom, Safek Layla. So there is no time whatsoever, not one split second, which is not day and not night. So now, that's what he answered him. So in the Yerushalmi, that I was going to tell you the Shach Levatari a little bit and then go inside. The Yerushalmi has a kasha on this Gemara, and the Yerushalmi has a teretz. And the teretz is not so understood. And the Birkas Shmuel has a kasha on the Yerushalmi. And he answers it. So that's our Shach Levatari. It's called a text on a text on a text. I have Ben Dama and Rabbi Shmuel. Kasha and teretz, essentially. He said, can I do it? He said, no. And I have the Yerushalmi as a kasha and teretz. And I have the Birkas Shmuel who says that I don't understand that teretz. And he has to explain it himself. Now I get to that explanation of the Birkas Shmuel. That's my Hagdama that I need in order to understand the Ramah. Okay? So now we'll do the Shach Levatari. First kasha and teretz, second kasha and teretz, and the third kasha and teretz of Rabbi Ber. So he says like this. I'll start, the first word in the line is Boha de Menachos Tzadik Tes. Shoal ben Dama ben Achoso shel Rabbi Shmuel es Rabbi Shmuel kegon ani shelomadi kol haTorah kula mahu shilmed Chochma Yavonis veheshiv lo. And Rabbi Shmuel said to him, absolutely not. B'Yushalmi Masechet Peah. Hikshelze. The Yerushalmi has a kasha on Rabbi Shmuel, on this Gemara. Ela miato lo yilmad adam es beno umnos. Bam shalav kasha. The Gemara says, listen, you can't go to university, forget about it. So the Yerushalmi says, what about, it says in Kiddushin, you have to teach your children a trade. So you're not going to learn, they're not going to learn any chokhmah. What's going on here? How are they going to be you want them to be street cleaners? That's what how are they going to make a living? So this is a very big kasha. Rabbi Shmuel is too machmir. on what basis did he say to his nephew, no, you can't learn? Maybe his nephew was a rich guy. I don't know. Maybe he didn't need to have an umnus. And but you can't tell me that nobody can learn any chachma except no time at all. Not they learn Torah yomam v'laylo, because the Gemara says clearly you have to teach your children an umnus. So how are they going to learn an umnus? You don't let them learn anything. I think it's a good kasha. That's Yerushalmi's kasha. And they gave an answer.
It doesn't say in many places you have to teach your children your umnus.
It says in the Gemara Kiddushin Daf Lamed. And the Yerushalmi quoted it and said it's a stira to Rabbi Shmuel. Pirish. Sheyeh mutar b'Torah sumnus. Okay, if you're a kind of intellectual guy that wants to learn Chochmei Yavanis because you just want to, expand your mind and know all these interesting things that are out there in the world, that's not allowed. We tell you, listen, don't waste your time. Learn Torah. But if but you need it for a living, that's a different story. You can get an internet machine and all these things. You need it for your living, right? You don't hear today that what you need to make a living is a heter for all kinds of things that you'd wonder how come people allow you to do that. But that's what the Yerushalmi says in the Havamina. It's in the Havamina. We're going to have a teretz of the Yerushalmi. Just we're not going to understand what the Yerushalmi said, but there is a teretz. The Yerushalmi says in that Gemara, the beginning of Peah, Umeshani. Dahare Omru Orur Shilmud Adam Chochmei Yavanis. That's the answer to the question. We're gonna see that this doesn't really help us too much. But if the kasha was that
cursed, right?
Cursed is a person who learns Chochmei Yavanis, right?
That means philosophy.
Philosophy. Chochmei Yavanis usually means philosophy.
Sake of the not for
But
a
that
living.
but now what if the fellow decide that the profession he wants is to be a philosophy professor?
But
Forget about it. You can't do it.
You can't do it.
It's arur. You're not allowed to learn it. But the problem is, you gotta be lamdanim here with me a little bit. I have to stick with my Ramchal kasha teretz. What was the kasha? What was the havamina? What was the teretz? So before I get to the Birkas Shmuel's kasha on the teretz, and the kasha on the kasha, and the kasha of the teretz of the kasha, the teretz of the kasha, I have to first get simply in simple thinking terms. You have to think like a lamdan, not just read the words. The Gemara asks a very important question. Maybe Ben Dama Stam wanted to learn Chochmei Yavanis, so Rabbi Shmuel told him no. So the Yerushalmi said, well, you could tell him no because it'll be Bidul Torah or something like that, but you can't say that find a time which is not day and night because it's also Bidul Torah to learn anything, because what about umnas? That's the kasha. My question to you is, how does the teretz answer the kasha?
It doesn't.
I mean, I would have. I'll give you a what?
Don't do it.
No, Adarabba. I would say don't learn Chochmei Yavanis because it's over, and do teach your kids all the Chochmah of the world they need to know to be a plumber, an electrician, and a computer man, and all these professions. Of course, they have to learn an umnas. He only said don't teach. So that would have been a teretz. If Rebbe Shmuel said, find a time which is not day and night. In other words, do not learn Chochmei Yavanis. That's what he told Ben Dam. Right. And then the Yerushalmi says, well, you can't tell people not to learn Chochmei Yavanis. That's if they're stop learning it for the fun of it. But if they're learning it for the important goal of they have to have a profession, so of course it's allowed. And then the Gemara answers that no. Chochmei Yavonis is oror. And even to learn it for professional purposes, not allowed. But other things, of course, are allowed for professional purposes. Yeah.
What about like for rabbinic purposes, like the Rambam learning Aristotle in order for his more Nebuchim or whatever? I mean,
How did he have a heter to learn Aristotle?
What's that?
How did the Rambam have a heter to learn Aristotle?
I don't know.
I don't know either. You have to ask him.
There's a machloket on this.
There's machlokes rishonim and achronim about.
Is it true to govern the mathematics in the bathroom?
Well, lichoira, a lot of people learn this Ramah, and they understand that arai means the bathroom. And,
Seriously,
and
you're not joking.
I'm not joking, but I'm not sure I take it seriously either. Because, what about people that end up with these, anal complex diseases because they spend 5 hours in the bathroom, I don't want to fall into that hole, So I don't really want to explain the Ramah that way. I don't know if it's a good thing or a bad thing. I don't know. But it's not really, my goal is really to explain what we're learning now, so that's a little off my topic. But now, the kash and teretz of the Gemara Yushalmi is that you can't tell him that it's not allowed because of Bidul Torah, because what about umnas? For umnas, it should be yes allowed.
That's the kash.
So that's the kash, and the teretz is, it's orur to learn Chochmei Yavonis. It doesn't seem to me it exactly answers the kasha. If I wanted to answer the kasha, I would have said that Chochmei Yavonis is what Rabbi Shmuel was talking about. There we have no kasha. You had a kasha on Rabbi Shmuel. How could you say not allowed? What about umnas? So the teretz would be, Rabbi Shmuel was talking about Chochmei Yavonis, which is arur. But is that but
umnas is permitted.
But umnas is permitted.
That's the deal.
Right? If it's not a chokhmah, which is arur, so learn it. You need to teach your children umnas.
That seems to be.
But
That's a havamina at least. What's the kasha and teretz? Because then I have a kasha that there's something wrong with what Rabbi Shmuel said. I said, listen, you can't tell him it's not allowed because of Bidul Torah. What about umnas? So the teretz is, well, he didn't mean it's not allowed because of umnas. He meant it's not allowed because it's arur, right?
right.
Okay. At least I have a kasha and teretz.
Good.
Now I'm ready for another kasha and teretz. The kasha. This is Baruch Ber talking. I don't understand the Yushalmi at all. Kasha. Dahare hatana. That's Rabbi Shmuel. Hatana omer. Shu asur isur bidul Torah. D'oraisa. Bimkein. My mishani. The isur midivrei Kabbalah. Sof. Ezi zubitul yeshkan. Hoya lo lahashiv. The asur midivrei Kabbalah. The kasha is, if I go back to Rabbi Shmuel told Ben Dama that learning Chochmei Yavonis is Bidul Torah. Because that the Torah commands us, Higisa bo yoma v'laylo, and so find a time which is not day and not night, otherwise you can't learn it. Why is it awesome? Because of Bidul Torah. According to the teretz of the Yushalmi, so Rabbi Shmuel should have said it's awesome because it's arur. We know that it's arur. You can't learn Chochmei Yavonis. So Rabbi Shmuel avoided saying that it's arur and answered instead it's Bidul Torah. But why did he do that? He should have said it's asur because it's arur, not allowed to learn it. Nothing to do with Bidul Torah. He should have said it's not allowed to learn it. So my kash on the Yushalmi is that you don't, after all, have a kasha and teretz of understanding what Rabbi Shmuel said. That, what about umnas? And Rabbi Shmuel, and the answer is, well, it's also because of divrei Kabbalah that learning Chochmei Yavonis is arur. So then the Birkas Shmuel's kasha is, but then there's no hava mina for Rabbi Shmuel's answer to Ben Dam. Why was he talking about, if it's arur, so then why was he talking about Bidul Torah? He should have been talking about there's not allowed to learn Chochmei Yavonis, period, midivrei Kabbalah. He kind of avoided the issue. And really, Ben Dama was asking him that, can I learn Chochmei Yavonis? So the answer should have been no. So, based on the Yerushalmi, which it's only because of Yerushalmi I got to this step of midivrei Kabbalah, it's also to learn Chochmei Yavonis, but then I have a kasha that why didn't Rabbi Shmuel say that? And this we have to explain. And this is going to be the Kiddush of the Birkas Shmuel in this section. Yeah.
Is it possible to make a distinction between umanut
Yeah.
and chokhmah? Because you have a umanut, like you make tiles.
Yeah.
You learn how to make floor.
Yeah.
And that's a umanut, like physical thing.
Yeah.
Chokhmah, the computer or whatever, university and things, that's a different chokhmah that's affecting the Torah.
Usually every Jewish mother would like their children to be a doctor and a lawyer, They don't want them to be a floor tile man, That's how Jews are,
There's no distinction.
Can
go
I think there is,
against
but there is, of course, there's a difference. But the question is, I have a Gemara, Shabbos, that says in Kiddushin Daf Lamed, says, teach your children a ummas. Now, do you think that means a physical profession as opposed to a more intellectual profession?
Because if it's an intellectual profession, it's affecting you have to have your mind
In some
Torah.
way,
If you make
there
tiles-
is something very deep. That's a question that really it could be better to teach him a profession like that doesn't involve his mind so much. That could be true, but I don't have a right for that.
See also Tanaim that were sung by Rabbi.
Yeah, we have all the, but I don't want to take that position or bring a riot to that because it's not his topic. But it's a very interesting aura. But the Yerushalmi is against you. The Havamina of the Kash in the Yerushalmi is that when Ben Dama asked, "Can I learn Chochmei Yavonis?" the Yerushalmi and the Kasha equated learning Chochmah with teaching an umnas. So maybe you'll fight with that Yerushalmi in order to say that, but I don't know. Now, the teretz of the Birkas Shmuel. V'nireh. The first word in the line is midivrei Kabbalah, and then this is the Birkas Shmuel's teretz I want to work on. V'nireh debir adovor kachu. I'll explain it to you. I'm going to explain. I have a kasha on the Yerushalmi. I'm going to explain the Yerushalmi to you. V'hine. Ma dehuter lasos umnos. Ein ze bittul Torah. You're allowed to do umnas. The umnas is not bittul Torah. Why? Hu mishum de darshinan. We have a drasha. We have a pasuk that in Mishlei that tells us that. Re'ei chayim im isho asher ohavto. The kol she'eno melamed she'eno melamdo umnos ki'ilu melamdo listius.
Thievery?
Yeah. If you don't, look, he's going to grow up and get married, and he's going to have a family. And you don't want him to starve and all his kids are crying all day and night. You want him to have a life in his home with his wife and his family. So you got to teach him a umnas. And if you don't teach him umnus, what's going to happen? He's going to have a wife and kids, and they're screaming and hungry. He's going to have to go out and rob people because you didn't teach him how to get money. He's going to need money. There's no way out. He's going to need money. What?
What happened to the kollel?
That's like a left field. I'm not going to answer that. But you're right. If you want to be like the Rambam, everybody who decides to be like Shevet Levi and dedicate themselves to Torah, of course, I'm not saying otherwise, but I'll ask you a question. Somebody who learns in the kollel, they're exempt from teaching their kids umnus? Not so simple.
No, they should teach them not to have a kollel. How to be a Talmud Chacham.
Okay.
How to be a Rosh Yeshiva.
Ein hanami. But I want to ask now the Birkas Shmuel's kasha.
Right, no,
And I need an answer to this kasha. Why did Rabbi Shmuel not call a spade and tell Ben Dama that learning Chochmah Yavonis is awesome? Why not? You haven't given an answer yet. But that's his kasha on the Yushalmi, right? After the Yushalmi gave the teretz in their world that what about umnus, and the Yushalmi said Chochmah Yavonis is asur. The Birkas Shmuel's kasha is on the Yushalmi. Well, if once you come to that, then why didn't Rabbi Shmuel say that? Why did he say Bidul Torah? He should have said it's asur. So I want to get from what the Birkas Shmuel is writing an answer to that kasha.
I thought we said that. We said the umnus is different from Yavanis. They're two different things. So
No, but the Yushalmi didn't say that, did it? That's what I would have said.
Right.
But the Yushalmi didn't say that. So my kasha is based on what the Yushalmi said.
You're right.
That Chochmah Yavonis is asur.
Right.
So then I'm not asking on the Yushalmi. I understand the Yushalmi could very well be saying that's asur and other things are not asur. I'm not asking on the Yushalmi. I'm asking on Rabbi Shmuel in Menachos. Why didn't Rabbi Shmuel say to Ben Dama that learning Chochmah Yavonis is asur? Ben Dama asked him about Chochmah Yavonis. That you don't have an answer to that question. You have an answer to the Yushalmi, but you don't have an answer to because I asked you in the Yushalmi does a kasha teretz. Tell me the kasha. Tell me the teretz. We did that, but you didn't tell me the answer to the Birkas Shmuel's kasha, which is how come Rabbi Shmuel didn't say outright that it's awesome? How come? You don't have an answer yet. So stick with me and we'll get one. Okay. He didn't say Venira Bira Davar Kahu and explain it. He didn't tell us, now I'll tell you the answer. He's as he often does, it's called a logical premise, He sets up something else I'm going to need in order to really give an answer to my kasha. So what he's saying now is the pshat in teaching umnus is that that's what he needs, and if you don't, it's like making him into a ganav. Biradover. It is the real thing I want to focus on. Please read it carefully with me. Biradover, the zeh limud. Now the fact that I learned umnus from that pasuk and the way we learn it, hu siba l'shmiras haTorah. He's going to have a wife and a family and keep the Torah. So you have to teach him an umnus. Otherwise, he'll be a ganav. You need it to keep the Torah. You can be like the Rambam all you like, and you can be Kodesh Kedoshim and you decided to learn in a kollel, but you still can't steal.
Depend on the wife.
What? You can depend on the wife. You can do anything you want, but you can't steal. It's the purpose is Shmiras HaTorah. V'nei boror. Hine boror. Shalistim, when a person says Hine boror, it means to say, it's not that clear at all, but I'm going to tell you a svara, and my raya that is true is really a svara. Here's a beautiful svara. Halistim, im mitvuotan bebezdin shel malo. Al divrei Torah. lo yuchlu lahashiv haheter shel umnus. I want to understand that picture. That's beautiful. This Ganav worked very hard all his life and supported his family, and he got to Olam Haba, and we know that the first thing they ask you is about Torah. So he was sweating it out because he was worried they're going to ask him about all the stealing that he stole, and because he left the world suddenly and he didn't exactly leave his profession before leaving the world. So now he's up there, and he's a very successful Ganav all his life, and supported his family very nicely. And he gets up there, and they told him, it says in the Chazal that the first thing we're going to ask you about is Torah. So he says, yeah. So now they ask him about Torah. So they say to him, listen, how come you didn't learn Torah? What's he going to answer? He's going to say, well, I was busy supporting my family. And is he going to get away with that answer? And if not, why not?
This is the thief.
What?
This is the thief.
The thief, when he gets up there, because they're going to ask him, how come you didn't learn Torah? And he's going to say, I was busy supporting my family. That's my profession, Everybody has to have a profession. My profession was stealing. I was busy supporting my family. I couldn't learn Torah all the time. What do you want from me? Good answer or bad answer? And why?
Well, I guess obviously bad because
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. So, but how come? Why not? Why didn't they have a good taina?
And mitzvah ba'al yedei avera.
What?
And mitzvah ba'al yedei avera.
I think I would say that when he finishes with Talmud Torah, they're going to ask him about all the averas he has. He'll get punished for his averas. I think he could even defend himself about the first claim of Talmud Torah by saying, "Listen, I know I'm up here to say Bruch Dynamis and Makabel the Din. I know I was a Ganav all my life, and whatever I deserve. But at least Bidul Torah, you can't tell me how come you didn't learn Torah. I was busy supporting my family."
Blaming on his father.
What? He didn't teach him on Umnos.
Yeah.
Well, we learn from Adam Arisha. It's not good to blame other people, So look, everybody has a profession, and this guy has a profession. So it's not better for worse. Some professions are better than others, but there's cleaner jobs, less clean jobs. But he made a good living. He took care of his family, and they lived happily. And he sent all of them to yeshiva. He davened every morning, and he was Yotzi Talmud Torah with Kriyat Shema in the morning before he had to go out to work. Or I should better say he was Yotzi with Talmud Torah by saying Kriyat Shema at night before he had to go out to work.
Well, this isn't the case they're bringing.
What?
This is the case they're bringing?
Yes.
You're not exaggerating?
I'm not exaggerating. What would happen if a Ganav got to the next world and they're judging him on Talmud Torah? I didn't say they're judging him on his Genevas.
Right. And then even Talmud Torah.
And he answers them, I had to make a living. And the Birkas Shmueil says, I don't think we're going to accept that answer.
For what reason?
Okay, for what reason? She'ena mishum deloy the kol she'ena melamdo umnas kiu melamdo listos. If what's wrong with teaching him listos? If listos is just as good as teaching him a profession because he'll support his family, so if you teach him listos, he'll also support his family. So what do you mean you have to teach him umnas so he won't be a ganaf? Well, maybe his father thinks that that's the best profession for him to go into. After all, he could work mostly at night. He could learn all day in the kollel. So what's the problem? איך תהיה החיים לתורה, ועל כן יתבעו ממנו גם עבור עצם הליסטיות, וגם עבור מה שלא למד. So in other words, since the purpose of the umnus was to keep the Torah said, don't be a ganef, you know. Right. So the Torah said, don't learn these, you know, minos, evil beliefs of people who teach Aveda Zorah, you know. Some things you shouldn't do, right?
Right.
So being a listim is something you shouldn't do. So the chiddush is that everybody knows he's not supposed to steal.
Yeah.
And we want him to have a profession and not become a professional ganef and support his family that way. But and we're asking in terms of bittul Torah, what's the difference? So the chiddush is that he doesn't have any heter of bittul Torah. Now he didn't learn because he was busy.
Not because he was a thief.
No, I'm talking about the thief.
Right.
He said Kriyat Shema before going out to work that night, and then he had an appointment with the guys, you know, to go and do the work, and so he couldn't stay all night in the base midrash. So he learned what he could. He even told them, I can't come until 10 o'clock at night because I have a shiur. But after that, he went to work. So now, what's wrong with him? What's wrong with him? So the answer is, there's two things wrong with him. One is, the Torah told him not to be a ganef. But the Torah also told him that you have to learn Torah, and you're not going to have any excuse from being a ganef.
That's two reasons.
That's the two things.
He's using
You can't use the listim as a heter for bittul Torah. Okay, now what do we want to learn from this? We didn't finish yet. What is pshat in the Yushalmi?
You can't do something that you're not supposed to do and do it and say that that's okay.
We ask him also for he's going to be liable also avur ma shelo lomad az b'shasha over al divrei Torah. When he was busy stealing, he wasn't learning. Bosa shah panui haisa. He wasn't occupied. He wasn't busy. He was sitting there doing nothing. So why didn't he learn? He said, what do you mean? I wasn't sitting doing nothing. I wasn't panui. I was very busy working. He says, no. If he was busy doing things the Torah told him not to do, then he can't say I was busy working and not free. Lama lo lomad. He had to learn. Bazeh muvan teirutz Yushalmi. Oh, now we're going to get to the punchline. How's this going to help us to explain the Yushalmi? This digression into the story of the Ganav in the next world who didn't have such good claim. How's that going to help me with the Yushalmi? So he says like this. Divrei Kabbalah?
Okay.
Because there's some drasha from the Navi that tells us it's Arur. Means it's not a pasuk in the Torah. It's a Divrei Kabbalah. The Kash of the Yishalmi, the Lama lo hoya heter, the limud chokhmas yavones mishum umnos. And the Teirutz was not, and the Teirutz, the Kiven, the Osir Midivri Kabbalah, it's Arur to learn Chokhma Yavones. Im Kain, Ein Ze Ratzon HaTorah. Now, I need that step. It's called a Siba Karova and a Siba Rochoka. I need the what the Yushalmi said is not the real final answer to the Kasha. It's because it's Arur and Osir, Midivrei Kabbalah, Im Kain, Lama lo lamad. And therefore, you couldn't say he was preoccupied with something he was busy with. and therefore it's going to be Bidul Torah. Vaz al korcha shapir yeshiv lo atana. Therefore, Rabbi Shmuel answered very correctly. You'll have a problem with Bidul Torah unless you can find a time which is not day, not night. So the Birkas Shmuel, he took the two answers and said they are, one is the cause of the other. In other words, the kasha of the Birkas Shmuel was that Rabbi Shmuel should have just said simply, you're not allowed to learn Chochmei Yavanis. Instead, he answered as Bidul Torah. By saying his Bidul Torah, we misunderstood the Yerushalmi. We thought that that means that Umnus is not Bidul Torah, right? But that's not so true, because what the Yerushalmi really means is like this: that learning Chochmei Yavanis, if it wouldn't be Osir Midivrei Kabbalah, no, but it's the fact that it's Osir, therefore there's no heter of Bidul Torah there. The question is, if a person is doing something to learn the Chochmah that he's learning, and the Torah doesn't say to learn. The Torah says don't do that. So the fact the Torah says don't do it, then he's going to have a problem with Bidul Torah. Because what the Torah says you're allowed to do, then you can say that I was busy doing it, I don't have Bidul Torah. But what if the Torah tells you you're not allowed? So Rabbi Shmuel had to say the two steps. When he said there's Bidul Torah, why is it Bidul Torah? Because it's also B'divrei Kabbalah, and therefore, although you were busy doing it, but you had no excuse from being busy, as if your time was occupied. Because you're occupied with something you're not allowed to do, therefore your time is free. If your time is free, learn Torah. So Rabbi Shmuel told him, you'll have Bidul Torah, you can't do it. But the reason he said there's Bidul Torah is because you're spending your time on something that has no the Torah says don't do it, therefore you're wasting your time.
Right, but umnas is okay.
That we still I would make that deal. Lich oira. I'm going to ask a kash on it. The kash I would ask is if umnas is mutter.
Right.
And just Chochmei Yavanis is Osir.
Right.
So then, how come the Ramah, whose topic was Chochmas Ha'umos, which is not Midus,
Right.
not like Chochmei Yavanis, and he didn't say Mutter. He said Mutter Ba'akrai. Doesn't add up. If it was something that's osir, so say osir. If it's something that's mutter, so you say mutter. What is this in between box of mutter bakrai? So in other words, the diuk that you're making is very good, but I know it can't be true. Because the Ramah says no. So then what is the pshat? That's the next paragraph. Ato navo el divrei Ramah. What? My time is out already?
No, it's the end.
Okay, I will. I'll try to do that. Atanavo el divrei Ramah. Now I have to explain the Ramah. And in order to explain the Ramah, so he quotes from the Goyen, the same, on this Ramah, the comment of the Birag on this Ramah, of Bofen Akrai is mutter. So
who's commenting on this?
The Birag Roa in the Shulchan Aruch on the Ramah. He quotes the whole thing. I printed on the page, but you can look in the book. He quoted it word for word, I think. Kamoda Isabiminachos, Shoal ben Doma. The Grua mentioned the Gemara ben Doma, and he now adds his understanding based on the Sifri. In the Sifri, there's a drasha, the psukim in Kriyat Shema, Dibar Tabam. the Sifri says, "Aseh otam ikar, val taseh tefelo." Make sure that Torah is the main. Masa umaton, masa chomaton cho. Your masa umaton should be in Torah. What do you think about? What's back and forth? What's on your mind? What are you dealing with all the time? Torah. And don't make the other things Iker in the Torah tofel. Shelo te'arev bohem devar macherim. No Torah plus. Not Torah and all these other interesting chokhmas. And I deal with Torah, of course. I learn Torah all the time. I love to learn Torah. But I love chokhmah. No Torah plus. Make Torah Iker. Make Torah Iker. And other things are tofel. They're not important. Shelo tomar lo mati chokhmas Yisrael ve'elech elmad chokhmas umos olam. Zeh v'zeh, why not? Torah plus. For this, the Sifri writes, Tamad lomar, lech techa. Shach b'cha v'chamech, lech techa b'derech. Going means you go with Torah, nothing else. Akbarak Torah. Lechas bohem. V'loli poter mihem. Not laleches means go and don't go away. As soon as you kind of lose your focus, I learned that. What about that? All these interesting things out there in the world. That's called the Torah's not Iker anymore. What keeps your focus and your riveted excitement, attention, you can't think of anything else. That's Torah. V'keinu yilach levadcha b'salach v'handocha osocha v'gom. He quotes the pasuk at the end. Ad kan lashon of the Gra. He quoted the whole Gra. Nira borur. Now I'm going to explain the Gra. Now this step of this this is the Birkas Shmueil now explaining the Gra, and I'm going to get to the answer of the kasha we're asking on the Ramah. I'm going to get to it by explaining this Sifri. And the Birkas Shmueil is Nira borur. The yesh shnei minei bidul Torah. This is a bidul Torah of Eino Lomed. There's another bidul Torah of Yoshev u'meisira milibo. K'mo v'dorim b'teil leitzonas. Person who's involved in devorim b'teilim leitzonas. I didn't say chokhma yavanas or minos or masurim. I said leitzonas. Mecharusa told me that he heard a story about a few guys in Hebron Yeshiva, from guys. They went to they makbid on the storm. They learned the whole morning Seder, and in the break they're up in their room playing cards. And they got thrown out of the yeshiva for playing cards in the middle of between the Sidorim. What happened? Leitzonas.
They what?
They got thrown out of Hebron Yeshiva for playing cards between the Sidorim. They didn't miss the Seder.
Right.
So what's wrong with playing cards? Gotta relax. Enjoy myself. Okay. Anyway, I'll tell you, his decision was like this. That it's called Yoshev u'meiser milibo. That he didn't hit him for they weren't learning during the lunch break.
Mm-hmm.
He hit them for sitting on their beds and taking the Torah out of their heads by doing divrei leitzonos. He threw them out. So there's two types of bidul Torah. How is this going to help me with the Ramah? I'll go a little bit further down. Okay, there's two types of bidul Torah. al ze nemar dibar tabam, v'lo b'dvar b'telim, u'mahu he's here al dvar b'telim. Why is the Gra telling us from the Sifri that dvar b'telim is so bad?
The Gra is not, it's against the, no?
No, I think he agrees with the Rama. He's explaining the Rama. You read. I printed on the piece of paper. You saw the Rama and then the Gra.
Yeah.
I don't think they're disagreeing. I don't think so. I don't think so. Also, if you read his Shachlavataria, the Gra, if he was disagreeing, he would say so. I don't think that is the pshat there. But we say like this: why do I need to add this understanding that the Divrei Latzonos is another level of Bittul Torah? The Kizutarhu Masheno Lomed B'Shas Ma'aseh. The moment he's not learning. That's something that is minor. Why do you need to have something more chomer than that? That's very serious itself. Because we explained before that a person is yotzei the mitzvah of Talmud Torah with saying Kriyat Shema, one word. But then if there's a mitzvah, you say acher, can't do anything, I must do. So he stops. But what if there's no reason to stop? If there's no reason to stop, he's got to keep going. If he doesn't keep going, he has Bittul Torah because he's not learning. So we say that's a davar zutra, so that's a small thing. That's a very serious thing. To be in a matzav of you don't have anything you must do, and you didn't continue learning Bittul Torah. So why do I need to add this second level of Leitzonos that it's like Yoshev and Motzei the Torah from his heart? Why does he add that? It's not a davar chomer to have Bittul Torah. So he explains Ella. The Bolo Mar, the Chiddush is Davar b'telim heimo ba'atzmam hasoras Torah min alev. It's not that he chose to do this or he chose to do that, but Davar b'telim is itself a very serious thing. The thing itself takes the Torah out of the person, not because he was wasting his time or he had 5 things to choose what to do and he chose that one. It's not because of how he's using his time. The thing itself takes the Torah out of the person. And that's called Bittul Torah b'yadayim.
That's Leitzonos you're talking about.
Leitzonos. Dvarim b'telim. Below b'sheval taisa. It's not a Bittul Torah of sheval taisa. It's a Bittul Torah b'yadayim. But what's the nafkamina? If I say there's 2 kinds of Bittul Torah, I have to have a difference between them. See, here's a difference. Bein Bittul Torah and Bittul Torah of sheval taisa. Sheval taisa is he's just not learning. That's number 1. And number 2 is a Maisa b'yadayim, that he's doing a thing that takes the Torah out of him. So what's the difference? They're both bad. What's the difference? He explains. Im yitnu le'echad schar al dvarim b'telim v'leitzonos. What if his profession for which he gets paid, that's his umnus? He gets paid good money for leitzonos and dvarim b'telim. You know.
You mean he gambles for a living?
No, that's also that's stealing.
It's a clown.
No, not a clown. He has a store where people come in to buy clothes, and he persuades them to spend their money. You know, so he gets paid as a salesman. What's wrong with that? Zomnas. So if he would get paid for Dvarim B'Telim, he's not productive. not productive, not laying tiles in the floor. He's not a big professor of physics or anything, you know. But he wastes his time. But he gets paid for wasting his time. If a person could get paid for wasting his time, so is that a good umnus?
No.
Why not? He'll support his family. If he's a really good time waster, he'll get lots of money for wasting his time, and then he won't have to do it for so long. And then he'll go back to learn.
Better than being a thief, no? Or is it comparable?
I don't think it's going to help us. Of course, he's not doing an Isra. I'm not talking about an Isra. I'm talking about Devarim B'Telim. So I'm not going to say it's equal, but there might be, if you're a Lamdan, there might be a little Tzara Shava here. That's what I'm looking for. And that's really going to explain the Ramah. We're not up there yet. We're going to get there. But the question you have to hear, if he would get paid, there's nothing wrong with playing cards. He wasn't gambling, you know. Wasn't doing something awesome, you know. He was just relaxing. And if you could get paid for it, even better. What? What's wrong with that? Why isn't that a good umnus? Bittel's man could be the best umnus around. I'll make a joke for you about this Kolo guy you're talking about.
Yeah.
You know, what does the world say about him?
Oh, boy.
He gets paid for wasting time. So, should do something productive, right? So now,
That's what they say. Misconception.
I think you have to take their mussar a little bit more seriously. You have to worry about it. They didn't say that about Rav Chaim Ozer, right? But if they say it about a Kolo guy, I think he has to make a cheshbon nefesh. What if he gets paid? Im hoyo al ze heter de umnus. Can there be a heter of umnus? The answer is no. Now I'm going to tell you the reason. Why is there no heter of umnus to do Devarim B'Telim? Mishum, the umnus ain't no heter. Umnus is not a heter for Bittul Torah. Ella, the umnus ain't a Bittul Torah. Now that line needs a lot of thought. Umnus is not a heter for Bittul Torah. It's not Bittul Torah. What's the difference? What did he just tell us? So I'll explain it like this. In the Lamdasha world, you ask, this from the very beginning of the article, we ask, this is part of reviewing Yossi, that we ask, is a mitzvah yesherei acher and making a living and all the things I must do, you know. It says rei chaimish imaisha after. You have things you got to do, you know. You got to run here, you got to run there. It's all very important. Mitzvah yesherei acher, you know. So now, when you're doing those things, is there a dechia or a hutra? This is the lamda shachilek. Is doing the things that are a mitzvah yesher, is it a dechia that therefore there's an Isur Bittul Torah but we're pushing it away? Or no, it's a hutra that we matir Bittul Torah because you're doing things that you're very important, you must do. Which is it? Is it a hutra or is it a dechia?
It's not, if you're pater, if you're exempt, then it's not Bittul Torah. You're not,
So
you're not mutter in Bittul Torah, it's not shayim.
So that's the Chiddush is it's not, well,
is that it's,
you're telling me the difference between Hutra and Dechia. Yeah, but I want to make a third box. I think the Birkas Shmueil is really telling us that umnus And of course we're defining umnus the way the Rambam defined it, because we paskin like Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai. We're talking about what a person needs to be alive, not to make money. Okay, now what he needs. So now, is that a hutra or a dechia? So the Birkas Shmueil says neither one. It's not a hutra. It's not a dechia. We explain why it's not a dechia. The nafka mina of saying dechia, in a page before he said that, well, what if a person, like I described to you, very busy working and very busy taking care of his health, and he'll sleep properly and so forth, and he must go to work for a lot of hours, and otherwise he can't support his family, and he's in fact, because he's kind of busy in the morning with his seder of how he takes care of his body, he doesn't even actually make it to daven, and I have to add that to make sure that he's not necessarily yotzi with kriyat shema shachris, So he really, from the moment he got up in the morning, he's really quite busy with all kinds of mitzvahs that are very important to, as Hillel HaZaken said, to take care of your body and eat properly, sleep properly, and then he runs to work, with not a second to spare. So if I say dechia, and if I give this fellow kaf schus that everything was absolutely mitzvah yesh yiracher, he had to do it, right? Mm-hmm. If I say the word dechia, then I'll say he is not guilty of Bidul Torah because he was doing things that push away the Isur of Bidul Torah. But if I say, no, it's not a dechia, then I'll say, no, he's only not over Bidul Torah because he learned Torah at least one word in the morning. If he didn't do that, then he wouldn't have any heter, and therefore he'd be over Bidul Torah because he didn't do the mitzvah of Torah with that one word in the morning. He'd be over the Isur of Bidul Torah. In fact, the Birkas Shmueil said that's the most chomer Bidul Torah of a person who altogether did not learn. And there's only one heter for such a person like that, which is that maybe he'll support Torah instead of he's unable to learn himself. He'll support Torah, but otherwise no. Now that's the side of dechia, and if you don't say dechia, then that guy's out. What's the difference? What is hutra? Hutra means that right now I'm doing my umnus. Don't talk to me. It's mutter for me to do umnus. No, that's not b'diavad. I'm not looking over my shoulder of maybe they need me in the base midrash right now. No, I'm busy doing my umnus. It's mutter for me to be occupied in my umnus, in my mitzvah yeshiva dacher, my great chasodim and important business that I have to do, and I have no guilt and no problem about learning Torah. I have a heter not to learn Torah, at least for this period. I'm not talking about a person who says my head is in Torah and all, gives heterim that don't exist. I'm talking about a person who has a heter. The Birkas Shmueil says, no, not a dechia, not a hutra either. It's not a hutra. It's just there is no Bidul Torah. That's a third box. A third box. That means that when he's doing things which are he must do. So if he's yotzi his mitzvah of learning Torah with the little bit that he learned before he left, and they had a right to be mafsik and stop learning, fine. But otherwise, no. So now the nafka mina is, what if when he left, he went to do his important job of supporting his family by getting paid for dvarim b'telim? Would help him, because if I don't say hutra, I'll say, but this is not the Bidul Torah of just he wasn't learning, which I'll say, okay, he couldn't help himself. He learned in the morning, now he can't help himself. But now I have another problem. He was taking the Torah out of his life with his hands, b'yadayim. Therefore, it's no good.